Hello, this is Propjeta Pg, a program which is produced by the Federation of Estate Agents, a program transmitted every day at 7:30 a.m. in the morning and 8:30 p.m. in the evening, and in weekends at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Today's program, we had done a program recently in Maltese regarding security in the house. Now we are doing this same program in the English language. As usual, Simon De Bono, the Secretary General of the Federation of Industry. Simon, last time we talked about security in the house. In the old days, we used to keep the key in the door, but nowadays things have changed. What is available for a safer house in today's technology?
Joe, security today is based on basically 4 levels. You've got the barrier security, which means stuff one puts up to stop people from entering into the house. It is metal screens, locks, fences. You've got the deterrent, alarms, cameras. You've got the recording. Security does not limit itself to stopping people from coming in, but gathering knowledge, gathering information, gathering intelligence on what is going around in your immediate vicinity. And from the rest of the program, we're going to go into detail and costings of what it costs to secure your house and what technology is available for you.
Thank you, Simon. Now we have a break. When we are back, so we can expand on today's theme, which is security in the house. We are back now, so we can expand more on today's theme. This is a program presented by the Federation of Estate Agency. As usual, Simon De Bono in our studio. And today we are talking about security in the house. Simon, now we can expand. We can see and you can explain on various applications, various security systems available on the market nowadays.
Joe, as you had mentioned quite correctly, it's an old Maltese tradition when the village was the extended family, the cousins, the friends, the work colleagues, that we literally used to leave the keys inside the lock. You didn't even need a handle because you just turn the key and move in. Things have changed. Population migrations, both locally where people, due to gentrification, could no longer afford to live in their what we call nuclear family, in their family environment, and they moved into cheaper areas. Some moved into more expensive areas, and the net migrant flow. So you have new people living in an area that do not form part of the family network, and there are a small percentage which would be undesirables. So it requires one putting up barriers. If the regia can put up, the first thing that one does is when you have a window at home that is made of glass and wood or glass and aluminium, these are not very difficult to get through. The Maltese have a tradition called pregnant windows, which is a steel screen that is affixed with bolts that run through the double masonry network, and they are bolted onto the inside, so they cannot be unscrewed. And they form a nice characteristic pattern. At the lower part, they are pregnant. They become wider and they bulge outward, so that if you have to stick your head out to look sideways, you can do that. So they give you security, but they also allow you to see sideways from the window to see what is going on. There are other ones that are of the more vertical manner, but still they have the pregnant feature, that I said, that allows you to look left and right from outside the window. So we do not recommend that one should have flat screens. They're not incredibly expensive. Each window would cost you something like from 200 to 400 euros, depending if you want artistic design, depending if you want them galvanized, all right? But they go a long way to make a physical barrier onto the entry of ground floor windows. It's not necessary to do them higher than the second or third floor. However, on the second floor, if you do have balconies, if a van pulls up outside, it is easy to go on top of the van and jump onto the balcony. And over here we have photos of modern designs that still allow you to have the use of your balcony but put up a physical barrier. In some cases they are wood, in some cases they are aluminium, in some cases they are steel. But they do give you the protection on the first floor window. And protection on the first floor window, protection on the first floor balcony is quite important. So that is as far as it goes to physical barriers. Then the third type of physical barrier is the lock that one does. We tend to keep it a bit simple and use locks, those what we call Chisa, F&F, Unin, or Yale. The simple key. The simpler lock is, the simpler it is to open. And two locks are better than one. It could be that when the lock is affixed, they use short screws, which is wrong. They must use very long screws that go for about 2 or 3 inches into the masonry, not just into the wooden frame or the aluminium frame. It is necessary to have a second system. Now, sometimes when you have keys, it is a bit fumbly that one does one lock and one does another lock. There are systems like these. All right? It is a keypad that controls a lock. It is quite efficient. It does not only require you to do the keypad because you have alternatives. You could have a dongle like this, and the dongle that you have, all one does is they approach it to the lock reads the electronics in the dongle, and it opens. And these cannot be replicated. They only come with a certain number of dongles. Some of them are connected to the internet. You could see here on the reverse that they have connections that can be on with it, and you can activate and disactivate dongles according to you. So you could have given it to somebody, like you rented it out, and then when the person left, you say, okay, at 1 p.m. on this particular day, I'm going to deactivate this dongle so that once he's left, he cannot re-enter. And the same system with these kind of locks, they also take cards. These are RFID cards, radio frequency, and you can just get them, all right, touch them on the unit, and they open. So you have 3 choices. You can activate them with the keypad, you can activate them with the card, and you can activate them with the dongle. And if you want them for your own personal security at home, these will be separate to the lock downstairs, underneath it. So the lock underneath it would be with your own personal key, but the lock above would be this. And every single member that you allow to enter your property will have their own code, they will have their own dongle, or they will have their own card. So the dual security system is very, very effective. A common key on the lower lock, but an individual access. It also gives you a sort of access control, so you know which people have come into the house and which people have left and at what time they have. That is part of security. Have you got people coming into your property that shouldn't be coming in the property? Did they get a copy of a key and now have free access to your house? The secondary system is, and we're not talking about a large amount of money. These systems cost something just over 200 euros. So for 200 euros, you have an extra layer of access control, which will stop people from coming in. But then you go, so these are the barriers. Now we'll go on to the preventive, and nothing prevents and deters access to a property than a camera system. First of all, there are specifications. We would recommend that the cameras are a minimum of 5 megapixels. 5 megapixels can recognize a face, and they can recognize a license plate. So if, unfortunately, you are burgled, but you need to see which people were casing the joint, observing the property, who came and left, who touched. This has a recording system, which is this. All right, in this particular case, I have a 1 terabyte recorder, 1 terabyte, in normal recording of 4 cameras at 5 megapixels, it will give you between 2 to 4 months recording. All right, this is the internal dome. So these are internal cameras. They are affixed like that, and they are all infrared. Both these and the other cameras see at light, but they also see in the dark. And these also have a motion activation system. So when somebody moves in front of them, they can trigger a message that is sent through here. The interesting thing about them is that this system, which is a modern system, allows you to plug it into your Wi-Fi modem and to send you a recording, a message, a live feed image onto your mobile phone. So what is happening inside and around your home at any one particular instance, you can control it. You can see it and you can record it. And from the information that we have and from the security data that is collected, thieves will give a very, very wide berth to any house that has a video recording and observation system. Because thieves, since they are criminals, will only want to do their business without being observed. Because if they are observed and they are recorded, you can give this information to the police and they will be caught. What is equally interesting in these particular cases is that you could have a USB. You can extract the information of what has happened in front of your house in high definition according to the cameras where it has happened. You put the USB in the system, record it, and then give it to the police. Or else, if it is connected to the internet, you can email them a video file. And for the police, it is an enormous amount of assistance.
Thank you, Simon. This is the program Property Behind the Scenes. Today's theme is security in the house. As usual, Simon De Bono, the Secretary General of the Federation of Estate Agents, in our studios. We have a break and then we'll be back for part 3 of today's program. Welcome to our last part of today's program, Property Behind the Scenes, a program which is produced by the Federation of Estate Agents, and as usual in our studios, Simon De Bono, the Secretary General of the Federation of Estate Agents. Today's program, Property Behind the Scenes, we are focusing on the security systems in the house. Those of you who would like to make contact with the Federation of Estate Agents, you can call on the cell phone 7944-6688, or you can send an email, estateagentsmalta@gmail.com, or you can access the Facebook page of the Federation of Estate Agents Secretariat. Simon, in part 3, we take a look at more security systems available on the market, systems that can keep away burglars or can catch the burglars.
When the property is vacant, then you can put a guard in the house to make sure that nobody enters, that no windows are broken into, that you don't have people walking inside the house when they're done. This is called an alarm system. An alarm system is composed of different components. You have the external sounder, right? This will be fixed outside. It will have a light that shows you that it is armed. It will be either a running light or a flashing light. And the same light, when the place is triggered, will start flashing in a stroboscopic manner. And on the back, it has 2 very powerful exterior sounders. So when the alarm goes off, it will start making a very, very loud noise outside in excess of 110 decibels. You will have the flashing light, and some of the new systems, they will communicate with you on the telephone. They will send you an SMS to your mobile. They will send you a voice message that starts to play, and some of them will even communicate with your camera system and give you access to those rooms where there is movement, because these are controlled by passive infrared. This is a passive infrared. It is called a PIR. All right, what does it do? As a person moves around in a room, his body temperature is warmer than the surrounding temperature. So what this will do, it will detect movements of people. And if your system is alarmed and you are not supposed to have people inside the house, the alarm will trigger. You can set it to switch off after the first trigger and trigger itself a second time if there is a movement between 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 30 seconds. This is a guarantee against false alarms. But the camera system gives you an opportunity to be able to look inside your house and see if there is anything going on. And over here, the alarm system can also take fire detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and smoke detectors. So if you have a fire or an escape of gas, or gas burning inside a very small, limited place, the detectors can also trigger an alarm. In some cases, you also have electricity interruption. So if the electricity falls, you are warned that your house is without electricity. The interesting about the alarm systems is that it has a control keypad, which you could do when you come in, but they also operate on the same system, if you allow me, with the dongles. So you could have the secure dongle, and as you come in, you touch it on the keypad and it activates the keypad. Every single user can be given a different password. They can be given a different dongle and they can be given a different card. And the cards are all coded. They have a number written down over here, and that number you will set the alarm that it can take it. So they will come, they will touch the card onto the alarm, and this will deactivate the alarm for them. So it's not a case that somebody got access to your code and then they were able to gain access to your property. They are much more sophisticated today than they were before. But the most interesting thing of the alarms today is the connectivity. Alarms come with something like this. You have the electronics over here that communicate to your Wi-Fi, that give you access to the entire system when you are out of the property. If you have a camera system, you look into the camera system and you're seeing that there is no movement inside your house, it's a false alarm. You just punch in a code in your mobile and you switch it off. So they are very safe, and you eliminate 100% of the false alarms. Now we come to cost. We have carried out a survey of what is available in the market. I am pleased to say that the level of security in Malta, the security providers, is very high. And they are normally one-stop shops. So you can buy fire blankets from them, you can buy fire extinguishers, and they also give you pretty much good advice. A 4-camera system with a 1 terabyte DVR recorder, and the cameras of a minimum of 5 megapixels that can recognize face and license plates, and they also have infrared. They work in the dark. Together with the installation should cost you about 690 euros as a starting point. There are more expensive systems, but in reality they are not necessary. So 4 cameras, high definition 5 megapixel, taking infrared, that communicate through a 1 terabyte recorder that gives you between 2 and 4 months recording, and they go onto the internet, so you can check from your mobile what is going on. Will cost you about 690 euros. An alarm system with 2 PIRs, a keypad, and a control box should cost you in the region of between 200 to 400 euros. You can add on fire detectors, you can add on smoke alarms, you can add on carbon monoxide alarms, and you can get an integrated system that communicates as well on your mobile through your Wi-Fi, through your modem system. It might take up, every additional thing you do might take up the price that will approach about 600 euros. But at the end of the day, you're talking about your house. The locks, something like this. This is what we call the secondary lock. This is not the primary lock. We always recommend that your primary lock is something that you do with a key, but you only have one key. The secondary lock that gives you the advantage of being able to open it with a card or with a dongle or using the keypad, this should cost you something in the region of 200 euros. These have the facility to be attached also to your internet modem, so you can add users, remove users, and change passwords and deactivate passwords as you require. So basically, we are saying with an amount of money of about 1,000 euros, you can put in a camera system and an alarm system, and you secure your house. Every window, between 200 to 400 euros, you could put up a steel screen in front of it, like the pregnant windows that without the traditional Maltese ones that we are seeing over here. The balconies, because they require the use of more wood and more steel, you're always talking about in excess of 900 euros each. And this is securing the first floor. But considering how much money one spends on acquiring a house, I mean, an entry-level apartment is 250,000. Just because you spend 1,000 or 2,000 euros more to secure your apartment, to deter robbers or malfeasance from approaching your property, and to keep a record of what is going on when you are not there, it is worth one's while, because one does have vulnerable people in the home. You have the wife, you have the children, perhaps your mother.
Simon, what happens when, unfortunately, a thief breaks in our house or apartment? Who will investigate, and do we call the police immediately?
Yes, the first thing one done was to call the police. If the police are interested in collecting evidence, they might come, they might dust the handle and anything that the robber might have touched. So it is important that you do not touch too much stuff. You call the police and you wait.
What about
the police in Malta react rather quickly. There are mobile groups, the rapid intervention unit that go around. So if ever you come in and the intruder is still at home, do not go in, just call, because they might catch him while he is there. Then you go on to the next stage, the insurance. You will have to do a report. You have to physically go to the insurance and make a report. Hope to God that you have done an insurance. We recommend that everybody does a home insurance. It's not very expensive.
But it's not the same.
You will list what you have stolen. All right, you are going to say about the different types of insurance.
No. But the report is the same. The police report and my report.
The insurance would normally ask you to give them a copy of the police report. They will not consider your claim unless you have gone to the police. So be quite exhaustive. The police will want to know what has been stolen, if you have any photos of what has been stolen, and the price of what is there. If it is possible to keep the receipt, it helps both the police and the insurance claim. If the robber gets caught, according to how much has stolen, there is a severity in penalty.
And what about the recordings and
those are quite important. Today, this is a USB dongle, all right? And it actually takes even miniature cards, which are not very big at all. So this, if you have a system like this, you plug it into the television, you don't even need a separate screen. And then you have a port at the back, which takes the USB. Over here, there are the ports over here, which take the USB, and you can download that particular part of the file where you are recording the robber coming into your property, or on previous days where he is observing the property. Robbers don't just come in. They spend some time observing the neighborhood. And a system like this, a 1 terabyte recorder, which would come with the cameras, would record between 2 to 4 months. It's not our experience that robbers case the joint more than 1 or 2 months before. So everything should be recorded. And you help the police to catch who these are. Our police force is quite effective. They respond immediately, they are very equipped, and they do actually go around the buildings of the area and ask for the video recording, so there's supplementary information to your own. But it is good that you have your own, because you will be the closest to the face and the clothes and the car of the robbers.
Thank you, Simon De Bono, the Secretary General of the Federation of Estate Agents in Malta. That's the end of our program. It was a very interesting program, and we'll be back in another program about more securities in the house. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Simon.
A pleasure.
We'll meet again in another program. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.